Hi, welcome back to the channel. Starting over at 50 Life in Africa. So, decided to do a video today because I wanted to talk about how I was able to heal from the narcissistic abuse, from the um just the gaslighting, the discarding, the all the disrespect, the mind games, the brainwashing, the strongholds, the spiritual soul ties, how I was able to or manage to heal from these things. So, the first thing I did, which is the first step that most uh, coaches or whatever people who have experienced narcissistic abuse or people who teach on these subjects, psychologists, whatever, the first thing they tell you to do is go no contact. So for me, I didn't have anything holding me to them, so I was able to go no contact. When I figured out what was going on, when I figured out they were narcissists, when I figured out the abuse and I researched and I found out what they were, I just went no contact. It was a slow process. It was like a gradual process. So I started gradually uh, cutting communication off with them. So if I was able to communicate with them via phone and text and all this, I gradually started cutting off the different modes or means of communication with them. So not all just cold turkey. I wasn't able to do that because, of course, you do know that you're still emotionally. A lot of times, you're emotionally attached to these people. You have soul ties with these people, and so it's just hard to just cut it off like just like that. It's a little bit more difficult, especially if you have children with them, if you live with them, and all that. So I did like a gradual of pulling back or pulling away from that particular the narcissist. I gradually did it, and slowly in my mind, as I was still around them, dealing with them, I was gradually pulling back, pulling back. Um, these people can be very dangerous. They can be very dangerous because they're controlled by evil spirits or demonic spirits. So they can be very not only toxic and they're energy vampires, but they can harm you or hurt you if they feel like you're trying to leave them or get away from them. So um, I always take that in consideration when dealing with someone, whether they're toxic, a narcissist, or any type of toxic, emotionally have low emotional intelligence type of person. You have to gradually wean yourself back off from them or back out of their lives. So you kind of gradually do it as you come to yourself, come more to yourself. You gradually back off of them and you start creating a life for yourself outside of them. So that's one thing you can do, even if you're with them, because it'll make it easier for you when you decide to cut them off. You'll have something else going on. You'll have another life outside of them. You'll have a kind of like a system set up or structure set up outside of only being with them. So it won't be as hard. So when you cut them off completely, you won't feel so lost. Like my life was the way it was because of that person, and I don't have a life outside of them, and I don't have an identity outside of them because they can make you feel like you they can make you feel like you won't be able to survive without them. You won't be able to meet someone else without them. You don't have an identity or a life outside of them. They can try to brainwash you and mind control you and make you feel this way. So you should start creating a life for yourself gradually outside of them, especially when you start coming to realize that they're toxic or they're demonic or you got to get away. So start trying to create a life for yourself outside of just being with them. Whether you're married, whether you're in a relationship, whether you have kids together, whatever, try to create something for yourself outside of that. So when you do decide to walk away, when you decide to break free, then you'll have something that you have set up for yourself. You won't feel so alone and by yourself and lonely and all that and lost. Because you do feel lost a lot of times. I know I felt kind of lost when it confused and lost when I started seeing the behavior. And I got discarded by the second one, but I left the first one. So he kept doing the back and forth, back at the discard Hoover, And then when I realized this is the first one, I have had two. The first one, the second one I was married to, the first one I just dated, but I dated the first narc for 3 years. The second one that I married, we were only married for a couple of months and he left. So like 4 or 5 months. I've only known like 6 months or something. So that one was easier to recover from because I was not attached to him because the time wasn't long enough for me to have gotten attached, as well as I started seeing red flags at the very beginning, and I did ignore some of them. I felt like, I made excuses like we all do, right? We make excuses, but um, the good thing is, I think he identified the second one that I married. He identified that I saw him for who he really was. So he said, I'm out of here. It's over. So, which was great because it gave me a chance to be free and continue what I was doing in my life. Like I didn't move in with him. I still had my own place, my own business, my own life, my own friends, everything. So the second one wasn't as devastating, but the part that um, shocked me was the age of that person, and because they were like 10 years older than me, and also the lies and the deceit and the manipulation. That part kind of threw me because I had never dealt with someone so much older than me that was just that mentally ill. So and just demonic. So yeah, that kind of threw me. But the attachment part, I wasn't really attached, so I was able to recover quickly, fairly quickly, because I still had my network outside of him. So that was good. But the first one I was with for 3 years, I felt a little lost when I saw that he was like threatening, saying if you don't do what I say do, basically, then I'm gonna leave. We can't be together, whatever. So I was feeling like lost, like he's gonna leave me. What am I gonna do? I mean, it's so demonic. You thinking in your mind like you've lived all this time, had children, lived your full life, had different jobs, went to college, school, whatever, and you've done well. But this one person can make you think that they've only been with you 3 years of your life. And for me, I was in my 40s at the time, so I was well mature enough to have an identity, but they gradually destroy your identity and make you feel like you can't be happy without them, or what are you going to do without them? Like, how are you going to like go on without them? Like, these thoughts cross your mind. That's why I say it's demonic, because when you can be in your 40s and then get to a point where you meet somebody and they have you thinking that, I had to keep correcting my mind, saying, wait a minute, you was married for 13 years, you have a grown son. If you got out of that, you survived that, and you walked away from that because it was toxic, then you can get away with it. You only been with this person for 3 years. So I had to keep talking to my mind, and I had to actually meditate on the biblical scriptures as well. I started going to church more to give me strength and confidence, because you gradually lose your confidence and your ability to think logically. Like that spirit has you so confused and so lost. Like they work with your. That's why I say it's so demonic, because they have your mind thinking that you can't make it without them. Just that thought that crossed your mind is like, wait a minute. Like I had two conversations going on in my mind. I'm like, wait a minute, you 40 something years old, you done went through this, and you just survived this person you only been with for 3 years, and you feeling like this. That's how I know it was so demonic. These are demonic spirits. They're energy vampires, and they will have you thinking some crazy stuff. So you have to be rooted and grounded in your. What really helped me was the Bible, was the scriptures. I remember, I was remembering what the scriptures say. I'm not my own. I've been bought with the price. Like I had to remind myself of the biblical scriptures that encouraged me and reminded me of my identity and who I was. That the Most High created me, the uncreated creator, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He created me for a purpose and a plan. And so no man can no man can tell me who I am. It is outside of what the Bible says I am. So I had to recondition my mind because of this hold that this person had on me. So, but it's workable, it's doable. It takes time to heal. It takes some years actually. It's almost like double the time it takes for you to, even when you experience abuse. If you experience abuse for 3 years, it might take you double that time to heal, almost 6 years to really heal and get back to yourself. So, but it's workable, it's doable. You just have to make sure that your thinking is correct, because it's all in the mind. It's a mind a mind control and brainwashing type of spiritual, demonic type of takeover of you, of yourself, of your identity, of your personality. It's like they're taking the essence of who you are and they're drawing it in to become you, and then you're turning into, almost turning into them, or just feeling lost, just feeling just dismayed and lost. And so it's very demonic, but you can work through it and you can make it through. You can get over the abuse. Some people may need to talk with a professional. But what I did was I used the scriptures as my, that was my consultation, the biblical scriptures, and the Father, and praying, and the Holy Spirit, set apart Spirit, um, you know, the Spirit of the Father in me to uh, remind me, basically, to bring back to remembrance who I was. Like, you're this, I created you in my image and my likeness. You did this. You're good at this. Like, all those things start coming back to me when I started meditating on the Word and the Bible and the Scriptures. Everybody has the different ways that they heal, different beliefs and all that. So it's not limited to just my belief, but this is what I used to be able to come back to myself, to be able to remember my greatness and who I am and who I was created to be, not above what we supposed to think, not to make myself be superior like that, but to make sure I remember, my traits and my good qualities, and the blessings that I have received, and the blessing I have been to other people. So you can come back to yourself. It is a way to do that, but you take it one day at a time. Start actually creating a life for yourself outside of that person. Whether you like to read books and you like to do things that set something up, going to the gym, or different things for yourself to get some type of individuality back to yourself, to separate yourself from that person, because they have you so wrapped up into them that you almost feel like you guys are literally one, and that you don't have your own thoughts outside of what they think. So however they think, you think that way. Whatever they want, you do what they want. Like, it's, you're controlled, and it's very demonic because they're taking advantage of you, and it's evil, wicked, and dark. So don't allow your soul to be captured. Basically, your soul is captured when someone controls you. It's a form of witchcraft. It's like mind control, any kind of control. And when someone controls you and they try to control you, whether it's through manipulation or any kind of way, that's witchcraft. They're controlling your mind. They're trying to control your destiny, your life, and it's demonic. It's wicked. Don't let people control you like that. You willingly love people, you willingly help and give, but don't be afraid to set boundaries, and don't be afraid to say no, especially after you've come out of an abusive, narcissistic relationship, or any kind of abusive, toxic, verbally, physically abusive relationship. Have boundaries. Be okay with saying no. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Just be right from the rip. You got to practice saying no. It was hard for me to say no in the past, but now I will say no. I will say no if I don't want to do it. It does not matter. No, I won't be able to do it. You can say it in a nice way. You don't have to be, not polite about it. No, I won't be available. So, but anyway, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for tuning in. This is my backup channel, starting over at 50 Life in Africa. My main channel is called Diaspora Connect Tanzania, where on that main channel, I talk about, doing business in Africa, leaving America, moving to Africa, and my life in Africa, traveling around. But this one is more of a personal channel about my personal experiences, emotionally, in relationships, and abuses that I've experienced. This is kind of like therapy for me. I haven't talked to like a professional in that, therapist or anything. Like I said, I usually just read the Bible and pray and talk to the Father, basically. But this is another way that we can share our experiences for people who may be going through or experiencing something like this or similar. Um, People who are good people, they're lights. They're some people say that we are the ones that are lights and empathetic, are like chosen ones. We are very unique and special. So sometimes you'll have that dark the opposite of you. So if you're light and you're positive and you're a good person, then sometimes you attract darkness. Light attracts dark. It's the opposite. So you may attract a lot of demonic, evil people trying to steal your beauty and your light, and they're trying to destroy you basically because of your light. It's good and evil in this world. And so you just have to be aware of that. You have to be okay with setting boundaries. Don't ignore red flags. I'm still learning that. Even in my 50s, I'm still learning not to ignore red flags. But the more that I heal from the past traumas and experience of narcissistic abuse, the stronger I become into where I can identify these traits and behaviors in people ahead of time, even if they try so hard to hide it. If you really examine and watch, you can see something. They can't hide everything. They try, but you have to really watch. You have to really listen and pay attention. But healing is possible. Um, your latter can be greater or better than your former. So just because you have been abused in the past or long relationships with narcissists and they taking everything from you, you can start again. You can start afresh. You can start anew with a new mind. You become a new person after being abused by somebody like that. You become a new and improved version of yourself. So stand strong. I'm no expert, just sharing my personal experiences on this channel of emotional abuse, energy vampires, narcissistic abuse. And so hopefully, if you know someone that's experiencing something similar, you can share the video, and or if you are, you can put a comment in the chat, and I'll put a comment in the video and we can chat. But yeah, I'm here to help you, provide advice, tell you how I made it through. And so you can do it too. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'll do another video in the next couple of days. Peace, family. Have a good